Well, now I'm on my way to Lafayette, California to visit Gina Pardo. Aha! Cabinet
These are
doors.
the cabinets.
Yeah,
And
those have been there a while, huh?
yes, they have.
So where'd you come up with this idea for glass doors?
I'd seen the look for quite a number of years in magazines that I worked in, that I used to work in. And
Now you realize that there's one problem with glass doors.
yeah, I know I have to be tidy.
You
I have to be
tidy.
neat and
You're
clean.
right. I think you're right about that. So here's what I'm thinking. There are a couple ways we could do this. We could take these doors and cut holes in them and then drop glass in the center, which sounds like it might be easier, but the other way is to actually take the doors off, build brand new doors, frames, and then put glass in the center. I think I'm going to opt for the second way.
Okay. And why is that?
Because it'll be a bigger challenge for you.
Uh-oh.
No, I think actually it's going to be a little bit easier. All right, Gina, I'll give you this to take those hinges off with.
All right.
I usually like to start at the bottom.
Gina and I begin by removing the old doors.
Oh, I love that, how it sticks.
That's the plus.
Yeah.
The old doors will serve as templates for the new doors we're going to make.
There we go. One down. Four to go.
Instead of being solid, though, the new doors will be open frames made from strips of 1x3 poplar we purchased at the Home Improvement Center. Step one is to cut these strips to length.
That looks a little scary, but it's really a very, very safe saw to use. It's called a power miter saw, more correctly, a sliding compound miter saw. It's got a lot of features on it. We're basically going to use it today just to cut the strips of wood to the proper length. Okay? This is a nice feature of this saw. It's a work stop. And if you'll just slide this along here, you'll see that you can read different measurements as you go. So let's start with the sides. We need 8 pieces at 34 inches.
All right.
So set it right at 34. There you go.
Using the power miter saw this way will ensure that matching pieces will end up exactly the same length, essential if we want our doors to be square.
Not bad, huh, for your first cut?
Wow. I think I'm better with this than I am with the screwdriver.
So what we ended up with here are about, how many? 16 pieces of wood, 4 for each door.
We'll be joining these pieces at the corners using something called a lap joint. At each end, we'll remove half the thickness of the board. When the two pieces are placed together at right angles, the ends will now overlap, forming a very strong joint. We'll remove the material from the ends using a router.
Well, on both sides of that sort of cylinder are 2 cutting bits. There's one right there and one right there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to slide this along the end of these boards right here.
We route 4 ends at one time by clamping boards together on a flat surface. Now Gina gives it a try. It's a little dusty, but after just a few passes with the router, she's got the hang of it.
Very nice, okay?
Now that we've formed the lap joints, we're ready to attach the frame pieces to each other.
All right? Because the first thing we're going to do on these is glue them together.
Okay.
Putting the glue in a shallow can and applying it with a brush makes it neater and ensures an even coating. This is yellow wood glue. We apply it to both surfaces.
And we're going to place this one right on top of the other, just like that.
Okay.
Okay? And then I want to make sure that this is square, so we'll put the framing square in here.
Small nails, or brads, will hold the joint together until the glue dries.
Now, there's our first one.
Great.
First frame,
Look
first
at
door.
that.
Do 3 more like this, huh?
Terrific.
Okay, back to your favorite new tool,
I
the
know
router.
what that is.
Now, if you look closely at this, you'll see it's got a curve on it, and it has a ball bearing guide.
This bit, called a roundover bit, will remove the sharp corner from the edge of the frame, leaving a smooth, curved surface.
And since that has a ball bearing, the ball bearing will sort of guide itself around the inside here.
All right.
Okay? So we've rounded over all these edges on the front of the door.
Right.
Now I'm going to turn this over, and we're going to do something to the back of the door.
Okay.
Because these are going to be glass doors, so we have to create a little step into which the glass can sit.
To do this, we switch to yet another router bit. This one is designed to cut rabbets or notches in the edge of a piece of wood. A ball-bearing guide keeps the bit from cutting too deeply into the edge of the lumber. Because it is round, the rabbet bit leaves a small amount of material in the corners, which we remove with a chisel. The outside of the frame will also receive a rabbet, which will allow the door to set slightly inside the cabinet opening. Our frames are now assembled and machined to accept the glass. First, though, we apply a coat of paint. It's much easier to do this now than after the glass is in place. As soon as the paint dries, in goes the glass.
Now that we've got it in here, we've got to keep it in here.
Sure.
So we're going to use something called a keeper strip, at least that's what I call it. It's a little strip of wood that I've painted here, and it just sits right in like that.
Great.
And we're going to keep the wood in place with some of these very small brads. This is called a brad pusher. There's a magnet right there. We're just going to put this in the end, okay? And then if you could kind of hold that in place, I'm just going to push the brad right into the wood.
4 keeper strips held in place with brads will hold the glass securely in place. Well, the doors are finished. All we have to do now is install the hinges and hang them on the cabinets.
I love these colors.
Oh, thanks.
They look great in here.
Oh, this is just exactly what I wanted.
You're happy?
I love them. Absolutely the way I wanted it to come out.
And was it fun actually building them yourself?
It was fun. I'm going to have a great sense of accomplishment every time I look at it. It's terrific.
Okay. Do me a favor.
Sure.
Can I have an autograph copy of one of your books?
I'm thrilled.
Huh?
I'm thrilled to give you